Hello and welcome to the off-season edition of Rays Franchise. Following what was an not exactly ideal season, as we finished 10 games under 500, we have a big off-season. First things first, we need to hire new coaching. And as I'm looking at a lot of these coaches, I'm probably going to let our hitting coach go, although 3 power is good. The -2 contact. We'll take a look and see if we see anybody better on the hitting coach market for that. We'll probably keep Kevin Cash around, but we do need a new pitching coach. And as we kind of scroll through, that would be great if 3 stamina wasn't so important. I'd rather go with somebody who is all up the money a little bit, get him very interested, and then go back and take a look at the first base coaches. If I can get, I think I prefer 2 speed. Feels like that's something that we could use in this organization a little bit more, as I'll give him an identical contract. And then if we take a look at hitting coaches, this guy is just, but -2 plate discipline isn't great. +3 power would be great. Minus bunting I don't necessarily care about. I think we might just keep who we have right now. And Gavin Lux is our only actual free agent. He's good against righties, as you can see. He can't hit a lefty to save his life. And unfortunately, I'm not going to roster somebody like that. Like, we can't see his in-season splits, which I feel like would be kind of nice if you could see like his season splits, you know? But yet again, we can tell he will never hit lefties well. And I'm, quite frankly, not going to sign somebody like that as we bring in Jason Schultz to be our pitching coach. And Hal Field will be our first base coach. So we have our coaches already on. And now it's time to look onto this 40-man roster. We currently got 3 open spots. I anticipate that to be more, as we'll probably let a few people go. But first thing on the docket is we need to get our top prospects onto this 40-man roster. Trey Morgan and Xavier Isaac will be on this team probably sometime later on into the regular season. But I'm going to go ahead and cut some guys from the 40-man roster, and I'll tell you exactly who I plan on cutting as I go. So starting off with the position players I cut, we kind of have our 2 catchers we think going into the season. It's going to be Hunter Fiducia and Nick Fortes. Dominic Keegan was not going to be somebody that we looked to extend and just be a guy on this major league team. He's not very good at hitting, and his defense isn't good enough to justify actually taking on a roster spot. Taylor Walls is one that sucks to let go. I don't think I could have gotten anything really for trading him. I get he's a 74 overall. He's a switch hitter that doesn't hit, and this was going to be his last year under contract. There was really no reason to keep him at all. And then coming to the outfield, Jacob Melton and Richie Palacios. Jacob Melton didn't even play for us this year, and Richie Palacios was really bad in the chances he did get. So I will let them go be Rule 5 draft eligible. And then Victor Mesa. Didn't really get a lot from him this year, as I don't believe he got called up at all. Yeah, no. He's a light hitter. He's not good defensively. I just didn't see a reason for him to be on this 40-man. And then if we take a look at some of the relief pitchers, I believe I waived a pitcher, or maybe I didn't. Maybe I decided against. I believe I decided against the pitchers. So as we take a look, this is who's off our 40-man right now. We have 6 total spots. And in free agency, we do have a couple needs. We have $78 million available to spend. I'm looking at bullpen depth. and some outfield bats. I want to try and build up some outfield and get some just more overall hitters onto this team, as our needs will be shortstop, second base, and center field is what I'll set. And then we kind of just need, oh, I'll set those as we go upon signing actual free agents. So for our guys that we were going to try and get first in free agency, I'm looking at Jonathan India to play a role at second base. He's a veteran on base guy, and he had a very much bounce back season. Really, it's his second best season outside of his Rookie of the Year campaign. I would love to bring in Jonathan India as a guy who can just hit leadoff for us at 754 or 354 on base percentage. Would be so nice in this lineup, and it's something he's done multiple times in real life. Just hasn't been that same guy in a while, and he's currently out for the year with injury. But if we can get somebody like this to be top of our order, that would be a fairly nice add. Garrett Hampson plays every position and defends it well with good speed. I'm looking at a guy that can kind of just play all over for us and just be a nice role player bench guy, because I don't think he'll cost too much. And then Miguel Andujar is our left-handed killer that is going to be a even better version of Justin Henry Malloy. Right, that allows Justin Henry Malloy to be a true bench bat, which is probably what his best value is, and that gets an even better version of him onto this team. So I really would like to bring in, I just realized these are now 3 former Reds that I'm about to try and bring in. Not just Reds biased, but I'm trying to bring in the best players I physically can for this team as of right now. When we look at arbitration, Griffin Jacks, I'm going to give all of these guys contracts. I think I'm going to give Brett Wisely a contract. I'll be back with you on that. So here's a nice development that I just realized. Looking at how much Brian Baker improved, his potential went up this year. 80 games of a 2.76 ERA. That's great. 12 holds, 1 save, 2 blown. But that's a really good reliever season. Brian Baker is going to get himself arbitration this year. As we get our first blockbuster trade as we continue working on into this offseason, Jeremiah Estrada heading to the Yankees. I believe this is his final year of arbitration. Actually, no, he has plenty of years left. Really, really good pitcher. And he's going for really just an okay prospect. He's now the Padres' 10th best prospect. Yankees not giving up a crazy amount for what has been a top-level reliever. As here's a blockbuster. Bo Bichette and Marcus Semien heading to Pittsburgh for Tamar Johnson and a couple older nobody prospects. Tamar Johnson yet to really find it offensively, but he's getting better. He's going to be 22 years old this season. As Brandon Lau, the former Ray, is going to sign with the Yankees. And I'm fine with all these guys that are currently listed on this 40-man to be poached. As there was a trade that I just skipped. Hold up. It's Griffin Jacks for a C-level prospect. I'll tell you what right now. He's getting removed off this. And I'm going to add to my untouchables. We're going to come now over. We're going to add Ken Wilson, Cam Kiminetti. We're going to go over now. We're going to lock up Xavier Isaac and Trey Morgan. Kevin Ramsey could be an interesting player because he's got 70 pop, but he's not somebody I'd consider untouchable. And Jackie Zachary are going to be the guys that we are marking. We're putting our foot down. Nobody is going to touch what is our number 18 prospect in all of baseball, number 2 prospect in our own system. I really like the look of Jackie Zachary. He's 18 years old, so I'm not going to rush him to the big leagues. And I guess I'll lock up Theo Gillian and Cam Smith. I'll also put those guys on the untouchables for now. But long story short, I'm going to decline this. And we're going to take a look and see what these guys want for contracts. India doesn't want too much. I'm fine upping it to 2 years, $10 million. It's basically that I'm going to give Andujar an identical contract of 2 years, $10 million. And I'm fine giving Garrett Hampson just a little 1-year deal to be a utility player for us. As we come to arbitration, I want to also try and lock up Jonathan Aranda for a while. If I can get him on a 13, actually kind of becomes cheaper, but I want to buy him out long term is what I want to do. I'm not going to get, as that would be ridiculous if I signed him for a $15 million or 15-year contract for less than $10 million. That's something I'm going to do later on into the offseason, depending on where we are financially. I want to see who all we can sign, as Garrett Hampson's about to let us know. And Garrett Hampson has decided to be a Ray. Welcome in, Garrett, as Jazz Chisholm goes for basically $21 million a year to the Mariners. Jonathan India about to let us know Jonathan India is in. Miguel Andujar. All three of our top gets, as we will not be outdone, as the Braves are still going all in, getting the entire Guardians bullpen for Harper Shanklin and Rich Vargas, two of their top prospects that they just drafted last year. I believe he was a first-round pick. Yes, he was. This just last year, and Vargas probably a fourth-round pick. They got some value on him. 18 years old, very far away. Harper, close to the big leagues. Not a whole lot really going on with him, and he's 22 years old, but not a half-bad trade for him. As we'll now take a look at what that does for our lineup specifically. Chandler Simpson will be our center fielder. India might just be a DH to start. Oh, I did not mean to do that, but I will put Miguel Andujar instantly into this lineup, and you start to see this team take a little bit more shape, as then that allows us to not have to play somebody like Johnny DeLuca, and it can just be Miguel Andujar and where is he? I'm blind. Oh, he must not be called up for some reason. But that then allows us to go bring back up Justin Henry Malloy, who then in our lineup against lefties will plug right in to a spot in the lineup. You can start to see the identity of this team take a small semblance of shape. I'm really starting to like it. Miguel Andujar might just hit fourth for us, as we'll look to completely rebuild this team. On the pitching staff side, our pitching staff is very, very young. This is what our opening day rotation will probably look like, at least these four guys guaranteed to be in it. Joe Boyle could factor in. I don't think he will, at least that much. I'm comfortable going out there and signing one of those starters, as Brady Singer would have been a guy that I would have looked for, but not for $24 million a year. And Chris Bubich gets a bag to go to the Diamondbacks, as we'll sim a day and take a look at what the starting pitching market is currently right now. So we take a look at the starting pitching. We could bring back a guy like Zach Littell, who actually had a very good season. Could be interesting to bring somebody in like him. I'll add him to our list. I don't think he'll be who we signed, though. As we scroll down, Maybe bringing back somebody like Nick Martinez, but Nick Martinez was not very good last year. Here's just a random 24-year-old prospect who just got thrown to the wayside. I mean, he could have been somebody I considered before he got completely nerfed. Griffin Canning is an interestingly cheap option. He wasn't good, but if I can get Griffin Canning for almost nothing, because I can get him for almost nothing, I'll give him 1 year 4. I'll give him exactly what he wants, 2 years. Because that's cheap enough where it's like, that's a perfect bargain signing for us. But I'm not completely committed to him as Carson Fulmer has now become a starter. That's an interesting look. How did Chris Paddock pitch this year? Not good. Patrick Sandoval? Not great either. Dustin May. Dustin May might be a guy we'd take a shot on, as I think he's a little bit more likely to be able to get him. I'm going to add him to the 1 spot. And we're going to double down on starting pitching being what we're looking for. And we're looking for power. Is there anything that they're both at? So they're both right-handed pitchers, but they're not both right-handed pitchers. Got it. Okay, that makes so much sense. Okay. Well, that's what we're going to lock in for now. We're going to see how much money those 2 starting pitchers want. As Dennis Santana with a nice contract extension to go back to Pittsburgh, and Morejon gets $13 million a year to go to the Cubs. As we continue to sim through, looking, how much does Dustin May want? That's a lot of money. Zach Littell wants a little bit more. It's $3 million more, but he wants a longer commitment. He's got very high control, which we know plays well into this game. He's a former Ray. I wouldn't mind bringing back Zach Littell. Dustin May is, I believe, technically younger by 2 years and is cheaper. I'm going to offer Dustin May this contract, and then I will sign Zach Littell if he's willing to come down on his asking price. If he wants basically the same deal that I'm willing to give Dustin May, it's practically the same. If they both sign, then I'll look to maybe just start somebody down at the minors, but it's two 2-year deals. They're smaller offers. We can just sim through to see if either one of them is considering signing it. As we're only going to get a phone call, and it's going to be Zach Littell saying that he lost motivation to sign. Dustin May, however, is a Ray. That is our starting pitching move for this offseason. We're going to now try and take a look a little bit at the bullpen arms, but down the board, as Brusdar Graterol is somebody that normally plays well in the game. He's also 28 years old, so I'd like to add Brusdar to what is our relief team. Brooks Raley is a veteran lefty that I think we could get for fairly cheap, just because of his age. We'll go ahead now and add relief pitchers. Brooks Raley's listed as a... So they're both ground ball pitchers. Neither are listed as finesse. That's funny that Brusdar is not a power pitcher despite throwing harder than Brooks Raley. But that's going to be who we look to get. As we'll go to the draft lottery, we have the 9th best odds at the #1 overall pick. Looking to try and jump up in this lottery, we will have the 10th pick. We actually went backwards as the Athletics, with a 1.4% chance of getting the number 1 overall pick, will skyrocket up the draft board as all 3 teams that actually had the best odds fall 4 spots. As we had 4 teams jump up into those top 4 spots, causing us to drop back just 1. Luckily, it was just 1. It's not like we had anybody crazy go above our heads. So we can take a look at this as we'll have the 9th overall pick. And we can look to see if there's any relief pitchers that we would want to add. If there's just anybody out here. Looking at starting pitching, Cody Pounce is here. He is currently hurt. I'm not going to take $10 million off somebody. Tanner Houck is in arbitration. He was bad his last year in real life. Jake Cousins looks phenomenal. Not a lot of control. I will pick up Jake Cousins. I think that's what I want to do. Bring in somebody like Jake Cousins and we'll simulate the rest of the Rule 5 draft. As we'll take a look at how much these guys want in free agency. Brusdar Graterol, I'll give you a 2-year deal. Worth 7. As we still have plenty of money to go around. As Brooks Raley wants basically $8 million on a 1-year deal. I'll give him $8 million on 1 year. Because he's getting up there in age that I think giving him more than just a 1-year deal would be scary, and I don't want to go up on that money. As Brandon Woodruff is going to join his former teammate Corbin Burns in Arizona, as Brusdar Graterol is going to sign his contract, and Brian Abreu for $11 million, or basically $12 million a year, is heading down to Miami. As we'll have to cut some people now again from our 40-man roster. The guy who unfortunately is going to get cut here is going to be Cole Slusser. What he did in 2025 was very, very good for us. He was not very good for us this year. As it says, we can't remove him because we offered him arbitration. I didn't realize we gave him arbitration. I mean, I can't be mad about cutting a 26-year-old 58 overall, so that's who's going to get let go. As I'm going to run back the offer I gave Brooks Raley, it's going to be identical. Yimi Garcia wants to be a member of this team. I'm not quite sure I want him to be a member of this team. 36 years old, he's declining fairly rapidly, as you can take a look at these numbers and see where they were to start the year. He's not somebody I'm comfortable giving an actual contract to with any kind of length. As Stephen Kwan is heading north of the border for JoJo Parker, Gabe Stanford, and Josh Kasenvich. Not a half bad get, as Kwan, I believe, is in his final year of arbitration, and he was very, very good. 830 OPS. I might look to also try and wheel and deal a couple players. As soon as we get the answer here from Brooks Raley, he is in. Brooks Raley, welcome to Tampa Bay. Alright, so a couple things that I did off camera. One, Brody Hopkins. When I looked at actual pictures of him, he has a beard in real life. So I've given him a beard. I've gone through and edited some numbers of people, like Brett Wisely was trying to take number 0, and I wasn't going to let that happen, so I gave him a lesser number because I don't really think he's going to be on this baseball team. And it turns out that Milan Tolentino ended up being another guy who got picked up by the CPU. He's now our number 17th prospect. I guarantee you he's not going to make the team, so I'm going to find a way to get rid of him. As we made a trade to clear up money, we bring in a young second baseman in Cole Young, who has position flexibility to play shortstop. A young guy who was completely blocked. We gave up next to nothing. Somebody that we wanted to get rid of in Mike Tolentino, or Milan Tolentino. Ben Williamson, who was horrible for us in 80 games. Not somebody that I was looking to bring back. So Ben Williamson actually goes back to the Mariners. Ryan Vlade is a minor league bench bat that I had no interest in actually using. And then Logan Davidson was somebody that I was trying to drop off because he was going to make about $1 million this year in the minors, and I wasn't going to do that. So we bring in another very, very young player. Cole Young is going to fight for a roster spot. He's got to fight with, obviously, India probably has a spot locked up because of the contract, right? Bryce Matthews and Cole Young are going to fight for a spot. Brett Wisely, that now makes him very much more expendable, as he does have options to go. But we're just making this team so much deeper and better as we keep going along in this offseason. As Kevin Gausman back to the Blue Jays. And Jack Flaherty going to join him out there in Toronto. As we take a look, I'm going to look at some bargain bin options for around the edges, as Henry Davis is here. Really strong defensive catcher. Former #1 overall pick. Has not hit well. Could be a guy that we try and take a shot on. And then Endy Rodriguez, kind of in the same boat. There's options down the board on guys that have decent potential that we could use. As what a ridiculous season from Cody Clemens. 20 home runs and a sub 600 OPS. What an insane year. As Ryan Mountcastle used to be a good ball player, man. They moved the fences back and he hasn't really been the same dude. We're coming down to the final week of arbitration. And I want to get Jonathan Aranda locked up long term and keep him cheaper than what he already is. Because if we look at the player card, he's continuing to get better. And I want to lock it in as he's only an 82 overall now, playing so very well. I want to make sure we get him locked up so when he plays even better next year. And if he will take that contract offer, I would absolutely love it. So we'll sim through. We're getting into arbitration. And the arbitration somehow sided with us. He will not be getting that massive extension, as we can still work that off in spring training. As we continue to sim through, Michael Grove. Didn't realize I gave him arbitration. That's strange. As a blockbuster sends Corey Seager to the Braves, including Josh Jung and Jock Peterson. Jock Peterson heading back to where he won a World Series a few years ago, or no, Jesus, it's been 5 years now since that. And it's Sean Murphy and Didier Fuentes who pitched really well against us, if I remember correctly. Although the rest of his outings did not look very good. As we continue to sim, Willie Adames is a Yankee for Clark Schmidt and the other Cade Smith. That was also a stud for Cleveland. Okay, that's strange. There's 2 stud Cade Smiths. As we have our final day to pick up renewable contracts. There's nobody I really want. And we're going to get into spring training now. As we take a look now at what this team could look like. As I'm going to shuffle up this lineup so we can actually get a real picture. So when we take a look at what this team is going to look like for year 2 of Rays franchise, Chandler Simpson is still our leadoff hitter with that 98 speed. Jonathan India will be our 2-hole on base guy behind Chandler. Then we'll have the power of Junior Caminero in that 3 spot with Aranda directly behind him. Carson Williams will be our everyday 5-hole hitter till proven or otherwise. Miguel Andujar will be the 6-hole. 99 clutch is a great stat for him. Has decent power and great contact against left. Johnny DeLuca, it's going to be his starting right spot to lose against righties. Cam Smith is going to be definitely in the fight for that spot, as Cole Young will start the year as the true second baseman of this team. And Hunter Fiducia, it's his spot to lose as the everyday catcher. Then against lefties, the lineup changes just a little bit. It's the same top 3. Miguel Andujar jumps up to 4, Aranda down to 5, Carson Williams to 6. You'll see Cam Smith and Bryce Matthews with Nick Fortes ending the lineup. That's how we're going to run it through spring training. And we got a couple interesting guys to keep an eye on. How does Brett Wisely play? Garrett Hampson. Obviously, Justin Henry Malloy needs to produce in his limited time. Xavier Isaac is going to get chances. Trey Morgan. It's going to be nice to see some of these younger guys get chances to hit in spring training. As we're going to sim through spring training, and we're going to get this whole offseason out of the way. As Hunter Fiducia steps up with Cole Young, the newest Ray, on second base. He's going to be tasked with hitting a lefty, which I actually do need to go back and change a hitting setting. What was that? I'm actually going to back out, then go back into settings. As I have hitting on beginner difficulty because I needed a thumbnail, so I loaded up a different file and just put it to beginner difficulty so I could get a nice swing for a thumbnail. As that was actually still in beginner difficulty for it, it's going to just not be a double play. Actually, it was a double play. That's insane that we just actually managed to do that. That was like a beginner difficulty pitch. And it wasn't even bad timing as Cam Smith steps in. He's going to foul that one back. He hits lefties very, very well. The righties are still yet to come. As it's 2 down now in the 9th. He's going to get just late on that middle breaking ball. And we're going to lose the first game of spring training, which does suck. But as Byron Buxton goes 3 for 3. Oh my goodness. Robbie Snelling absolutely shoved in his 1 inning. 2 strikeouts. As there's the Willy Adames trade happening yet again. As we'll sim through this game or not. Spencer Steer at the plate. We might just have to do every spring training game. It might just force me to. It's Edwin Urceta on the mound to face the former Red Spencer Steer. So we'll try and get Steer out. He, in real life, does not handle the inside and high fastball at all. He cannot hit velo up to save his life. As the fact he made contact on that was surprising. It'll get out of play. And I'm going to try and go inside and up with this fastball. So we're early on it. We'll try sweeper down and away. And that's going to get the strikeout. Spencer Steer unable to make contact at his new home. And we'll return to simulating. And we will win our first spring training game of the year. Pepio, 3 innings, 5 strikeouts. We were able to get to Chris Sale. It was what an afternoon by us. I'm going to hop in now and player lock as Dustin May, the newest starting pitcher to this Rays team. We're 1-1. Jarrett Jones back on the mound for the Pirates, as it looks like he is finally healthy for them. So we'll go ahead and face the power-hitting O'Neal Cruz, who's starting his 7th year with the Pirates. As that's smoked, that's going to be into, or it will be cut. There might be a play at second, but the throw is wild by, looks like, Johnny DeLuca. And that'll be a leadoff double. It was just a middle pitch. And here is Bo Bichette, the Pirates' newest offseason acquisition, as the Pirates are going all in on this year. As Dustin May trying to show some athleticism, and it's a bad throw by me. The game was like moving. I couldn't tell if that was stick drift or the game just deciding, because he's got such a low like fielding, it was moving the thing as I was trying to do it. As that will be an infield pop-up. Infield fly, can of corn for Carson Williams. Dustin May, with all that red hair behind him, will now face Brian Reynolds. That sweeper is way inside. Originally acquired for Andrew McCutchen, I believe, back in the day. A trade with the Giants. Could be wrong, though, as that was just low. As that fastball's rocked foul. But that'll make it a 2-2 count. And we're going to go with a changeup outside to try and get the swing and miss, and we will. 90 on the gun with that changeup. And that'll be the second out, as up stands Marcus Semien. As that sinker is going to be fouled back. Very interesting team this Pirates squad just built. Acquiring basically the whole Mets middle infield. As that strike 3, perfect paint. Semien goes down without a fight. And up stands Jake Magnum. And that's going to be a little weak line drive to the second baseman, Cole Young, making his first offensive play of the game. As that's another good sinker in there. We're loading up with sinkers to O'Hearn, trying to keep him from being able to elevate and celebrate. We'll go with a good breaking ball, and he's going to bloop it the other way. And Junior had a play on it, but was unable to get it. The throw in by Chandler Simpson will be cut, as O'Hearn will stay at second. It's a weak liner into the outfield for a lead, or a one-out double, as I don't know what I'm talking about now. As that fastball's way up and in, and it gets Nick Gonzalez, as it'll bring up Luis Torrens. As that's a ground ball, unable to get it, and there's going to be a chance at the plate. The throw is just late to get O'Hearn, as that sweeper wasn't even in a bad spot. It was just on the outside part of the plate. Just unable to get to it was Cole Young, as that sweeper's a big swing and a miss pitch. As we'll go to the cutter in. And we got it way in. He's going to foul it off, however. And we'll go for a circle change outside for a swing and miss, as that's way down. The runners hold. A bounce changeup, not necessarily where you want to put it. So we'll try and go back to that same pitch. And that's going to get the swing and a miss. It probably caught the outside corner. Had to swing, and he came up empty. As Dustin May, as that actually was just outside, is going to hit it's a smoke show to Aranda, but Aranda with quick hands and quick feet gets to the bag as we score a run in the bottom of the inning. And here is Kerry Carpenter. Did not realize they also acquired Kerry Carpenter in the offseason. I was just pitching and talking, not noticing some of the names. This Pirates team is going to be a fun team to watch, as the throw by Carson Williams is low, but Aranda's able to handle it. Brian Reynolds stands in, as we're going to try and challenge this pitch. Fiducia thinks it was a strike. He'll be the one to tap, and he was just wrong. It was just a hair low, as that will be ball one. That sinker right on the outside part of the plate for strike one now. We're going to go back to that same sinker, As I'm pitching fairly well with Dustin May with pure analog. As that sweeper destroys the bat. Junior coming in on it hard. The throw in time for the out. Brian Reynolds with good speed, but not good enough. As he destroyed his bat on that, that sinker's going to be dotting the inside corner for the first strike to Semien. And that sinker's going to be hit hard to Cole Young. It's a easy little rollover, though, to him, and the throw will end Dustin May's day. As out comes Joe Boyle. The Pirates will take this game, however, at a 2-1 final score. Griffin Canning gave up the only run, and it was O'Hearn scoring, or how did that score end up? Oh, it was a home run. That was the extra run, as we'll continue to sim through spring training. As Brody Hopkins did not have a great start in his first spring training, as we are currently 1-7 in spring training. Make that 1-8, but we do get revenge against the Pirates, as we're in a big situation now in the bottom of the 8th inning, needing to get 2 outs, and it'll be TJ Rumfield. As that changeup is low. We have not been good with Edwin Urceta in this series, as who is that super duper slow in the corner? Unable to get to that ball, as that's going to be fouled back. A changeup. We're going to try for a cutter in just early on it, and it's going to be skied foul back behind the Twins dugout. We're going to try cutter in a little bit more, and it's too far in. I'm going to go to the sinker, and it's again fouled back. TJ Rumfield putting up a nice at-bat for the Twins. That breaking ball hit sharply to second. The quick flip, and a horrible feed by the shortstop, Carson Williams. He just didn't get rid of the ball. You can see it's a quick flip, and he just holds on to it and just takes a squat on the bag before even throwing it. You had the double play. Instead, we need to get one more out, and it's going to be Alex Jackson, the batter. And that's going to be skied high in the air. DeLuca under it. No need to worry, and that's how we're going to get out of the inning. As we'll return to simulating and take this one 4-3. Jonathan India with a home run in today's game. Carson Williams with a homer, so he made up for it. As we've won 3 straight games here in spring training, as I'll continue to sim through, make that 4 of our last 5. It's Brody Hopkins with a better start. And spring training wins don't really mean anything, but I would love Cam Smith to come through here. Cam Smith against a righty, something he needs to prove to be able to do at the major league level. And no better time to figure out if you can or cannot do it than spring training. As the 0-1 pitch, or the 0-0, sorry, to Cam Smith. No, it was 0-1. I was just predicting the future, as that was an ugly swing on a curveball. The 0-1 for Mick Abel. It's going to be way high at 98. Good velo for Mick. It's not great location. 1-1. 97 on the gun. It's also high. So we do not have good foot speed on the bags right now. The 1-2 is low. It squirts away from the catcher, but we're not going to try to advance. The 2-2 is off the plate away. Xavier Isaacs on deck. Not quite hitting very well yet in spring training. The full count offering is down the middle, and it's lashed into the outfield. It's a one-out single, and we have taken the lead. It's now 7-6 Rays. That'll bring up Xavier Isaac, one of our top prospects. As the first pitch to him is going to be high, and we're going to challenge that. I disagree with the call, as that was right on the money. I forget how tall Xavier Isaac is. At 6'5", that pitch would not be a strike to many of our other hitters. But it's an extra innings, and we have 2 of them anyways, as that was good timing on a curveball just a hair low, as it's 0-2 to Isaac. Way inside for ball 1. 1-2 now to Xavier Isaac. The pitch swung through a fastball upstairs. X-Man goes down swinging. And that pitch was a strike. I thought it was going to be high, and here's Brett Wisely, who is not having a good spring training to his name right now. He's batting .1. And that felt like good timing on that fastball, and it was good timing. Good timing on a middle-in fastball, unable to do anything with it. And that's an ugly swing, but probably wasn't going to result in anything, as we'll return to simulating. And Griffin Jacks, we'll continue simulating that. Continue simulating that. We'll continue to simulate that. And we'll win! And there we go. I was making sure if we got into any more danger, I would hop in. Chandler Simpson with a triple. Jonathan Aranda, DeLuca, and Fiducia all homered in today's game. Great to see the bats coming alive, as we're going to make our first batch of cuts to start this week. When we take a look at the offensive pieces, we know who our catchers are going to be. We've figured that one out. Trey Morgan is going to stay up. He's not going to actually make the team. I just want him to keep getting chances, as Xavier Isaac will go down. India's killing it in spring training. Bryce Matthews is doing so well. Cole Young is not doing great. Brett Wisely is doing terrible. Brett Wisely will go to AAA. Garrett Hampson's doing very good, so he will stay on roster, as that's Jackie Zachary, our top prospect, or our technically second best prospect, but he was our second first-round pick of last year's draft. Very high on him, as Andujar's been good. Simpson hasn't, but Henry Malloy having another great spring training. And those are some of our early cuts. And we'll go ahead and start with some of the pitching staff as well now. As Jesse, it's been 6 innings, probably not going to win out a spot, as Griffin Canning's been horrible. Joey Boyles is going down to AAA. In the bullpen department, Kevin Kelly's been bad. Cole Slusser. Hunter Biggie hasn't pitched, so he's going to go down. Cole Slusser was terrible last year, and I'm not going to be fooled by these spring training numbers. Slusser will go down. Kevin Kelly will stay up. Mason is going to stay up, as he was good for us last year. Yonderies is not going to start on the Major League team this year. As a matter of fact, does Kevin Kelly have options? Kevin Kelly has plenty of options. I might start him at AAA as well. Cam Boozer will stay up, as I think he could actually be a part of this bullpen. As the main guys for this bullpen have been very good for us. Brooks Raley hasn't gotten any options. Hopefully he will get some run. There's a lot of our top relievers just aren't getting action. I don't know how to fix that. Maybe he'll get some key innings as we move forward. As with AJ Smith-Shawver's start and winning the last 3 games, we finished 3 games under 500 in spring training. And we'll take a look at who all deserves to be on this team, as I think everybody in the starting lineup has all but proved why they deserve to be up here. Garrett Hampson started to cool off. I would have to DFA him, but he would probably come back to us. Henry Malloy will be staying. As we got tough choices now on who stays up. Gonna have to start making some more tough decision cuts. So we have decided to designate Griffin Canning for assignment, and we're gonna send him to AAA to start the year. Brody Hopkins, because he's a top prospect, is going to be given the benefit of the doubt and will be our 5 starter. And then now when we look at the relievers, Ian Seymour has earned the right to be up here. Cam Boozer just didn't unfortunately get any chances in spring training, which will hurt his chances of making this team. So if we take a look at the pitching staff, we start to assign guys in. This is what our bullpen currently looks like. As Brian Baker will go to middle relief. We need to cut one more bat from our major league team. And currently, right now, it might just have to be Garrett Hampson, who struggled down the stretch of spring training. As I think we value Chandler Simpson a little bit too much. So then our utility guy would be Bryce Matthews. We'll have plenty of utility. Actually, no, Trey Morgan is still here. I didn't realize Trey Morgan was still on the roster. That'll be our 26-man roster. And we will sim to the regular season, as we can actually do contract offers. As Junior's going to want a lot of money. But the asking price has actually technically gone up on Jonathan Aranda. As to end this episode, if Jonathan Aranda just wants $14 million a year, I'm comfortable giving him 10 years, 140. Actually, I'll take the years down. 8 years. As I'll raise the money a little bit. 8 years, 115 for Jonathan Aranda. We're going to send that through, and he's excited to accept it. As we'll have a couple key free agents in our pitching staff. Our ace and our closer coming up. And as we sim to the regular season, this has been the off-season edition of Rays Franchise. So thank you so much for watching today's episode, and I'll see you for the start of the regular season.